Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Printing's Alive with me, your host, Warren Werbitt. And today is a special day, although every day on my podcast is a special day. But let me get into it. Today on Printing's Alive, we have someone I'm really excited and proud to have on the show. We have Bettylyn Krafft. I'm smiling because I got her name wrong before as usual, but I got it right now. A powerhouse advocate for the future of our industry and a keynote voice behind the Phoenix Challenge. If you care about the next generation of print, and damn, you should care, this conversation matters. Since 1998, the Phoenix Challenge Foundation has been quietly doing the real work, recruiting, educating, inspiring students to pursue careers in flexography. From hands-on high school competitions to year-long college challenges that mirror real-world industry problems, they're not just talking about workforce development, they're building it. So far, they've given out tens of thousands of dollars in in scholarships, because I was reading ahead. But honestly, the bigger impact is the confidence, the skills, and the passion that we're putting back into the industry. And we know that this industry needs it because that's what we're all talking about. This episode's about education, opportunity, flexo, and why supporting young talent isn't optional, it's survival. And you know what? For all you people with kids, I don't even have to tell you anymore. You know what you have to do. You have to help us. So let's get into it. Welcome, Bettylyn Krafft. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. And I'm so excited about being here. And Maureen, you just do such a great job. Really, really do a great job. Thank you.
Oh, you have nothing? You want to add more to that? No,
Well,
I'm kidding. But honestly, thank you. I'm really not good at receiving that stuff, but I appreciate hearing it. So thank you. All right. And we're not here for me. We're here for you. You know, Bettylyn, before we get into the Phoenix Challenge, just what's your print story?
so my print story is I actually answered ad for mechanical aptitude back in a long time ago, we'll just say. And I went to work for Harper Corporation of America, stayed there for about 8 years and got into analogs roles, helped start the technical services department there. Left there and went into photopolymer printing plates, water wash, with a company called Supertech Systems. It was bought and purchased by Polyfibron and then McDermott, and stayed there for until we did what we call the technology transfer. Stayed that and then went into another little company for a short amount of time that was a replacement for Sticky Back. And the whole time I was like, I need to do more with kids. I like working with the kids. And more importantly, I love sharing flexography with people. And so I judged the first 2 years of the Phoenix Challenge. It was started by an amazing individual. Her name was Diane Teague. She unfortunately has passed away now. But Diane had me judge that first 2 years. And then she came to me and she said, I'm going to retire. You need to let this keep going. So I did. And then I did that for a couple of years and I was like, man, we could do so much more if I just knew how. And so I went to Ron Harper, who was my first employer. And I said, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Can you help me? And he did. And we set up the 501c3 and we made it, the rest is history. We made the challenge for the high school, and then the college people got mad because they didn't have a competition. And I told them, I was like, look, I said, this was designed by the teachers. I just implement it. So if you want me to do a college competition, then you'll have to design it. And they did. And so now we implement that. And then one thing has led to another. And it's been awesome. It's been the greatest adventure that I could ever even imagine. It's really cool.
Wow. You know what? There's honestly people who want to help people. There's no better than that. And
Yeah.
no, honestly, like not just our industry, anywhere, people helping people really, that's what we're learning life's all about. Right. And
Yeah.
I think it's great. People like you inspire me to want to do more. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you. I believe in paying it forward, right? And that's what we do. We pay it forward and we teach them what's in our heart. And my passion is about flexography. And I love working with people to bring them into the industry. And it's really cool to watch the light bulbs go out, especially with the young people. High school challenge is amazing. It's skills based. We do, if you don't know about it, a 2.5-day competition. And they do pre-press, and they do math, and they do a knowledge test. They do a plate making test, and then they run a printing press. They have to take 2 colors, register it, print what we call sellable stock, and then they have to clean it up in an hour and 45 minutes. And then we give them tours and all kinds of other stuff that go along with the high school one. But then the college one is so different. The college one, they have to work with a nonprofit or a small business, and they have to rebrand them, and they have to take them through the whole process and create up to 3 printed products flexigraphically. And then they do a presentation in front of it. And the lives that those kids have touched by paying it forward, by changing small nonprofits and changing small businesses, has been incredible. But the knowledge that they've gained doing it is even more so. So it's a win-win situation for them. It's
Yeah,
really
I'm
cool.
even thinking for young people to be involved in something where, again, helping people, doing something nonprofit.
Yeah.
That's another area that young people need to be taught and or trained in going forward, right? Because it's just a different world we're living in today, and not everybody gets it. It's wow. So, what was there? Was there a moment that got you into this? Like, was there one moment that, or were you just always a kind, giving person?
Oh, well, thank you for that compliment. I wanted to be a teacher when I was in college, and my dad wouldn't let me because my father was a teacher, and he was like, these kids are changing. You can't do that. You need to go make money. So, but I was like, I really like teaching. And so I just knew it was the right thing to do. But more importantly was there weren't a lot of young people coming into our industry. And we need that. We still need that desperately.
More than ever.
More than ever. And the only way I know to do that is one student at a time. And we have to work with each individual as much as we can. And what I tell people all the time is if you want to have a new workforce and you want to bring them into your area, then you must reach out. They're not just going to magically come to you. You've got to reach out, and you've got to give of yourself too. But that's so hard for people. They don't understand that. And I don't get that,
I don't understand that at all, at all, at all.
No.
When the Phoenix Challenge was started, or back in 1998, what were they trying to solve then?
So then what they were trying to do was they wanted students to compete against other students in flexography. And there were no competitions for that. And so that's what Diane wanted to do. That was her goal. What happened, though, was the teachers got so excited about watching the kids and the light bulbs going off and all that kind of stuff that it just started to grow. Unfortunately, in the States, well, in Canada too, actually, education has been about how many butts we have in the seats. It's not necessarily about making the students vital citizens to pay taxes and have a real job, right? So
Politics.
yeah, it's all about politics, and it's not about the individuals. So one of the things that we do with the Phoenix Challenge is we try to work with as many graphic arts communications programs, and we try to add flexography into those programs. But it really comes from the teacher. If they have the passion to make sure that the students are having successful careers and can, be successful outside of, not every kid is college bound. And that's one of the things that we work with. I work with both those kids who think they can't go to college because they don't have the money and would like to go to college. Then there are 2-year schools and there are 4-year schools that teach graphic arts. But I also work with the kids that don't want to go to college. They just want to go get a job. And we have a lot of success programs that way too. So we can't track our high school kids because they're minors, right? But when they get to be adults, a lot of them will come back to me and talk to me. But I tell our kids all the time, learn the process, dream the job, and go after whatever is in your heart that you want to do. Whether it's chemistry, engineer, maybe it's production, And I get so upset with people when they say that a college student doesn't want to go into production. because that's not necessarily true either. We've got college students coming out of 3 different programs that's all they really want to do is production. But they want that piece of paper, or somebody has instilled in them that they need that piece of paper. So whatever the case may be, there's a path for everybody. You just have to choose what path works for you. What's right?
Yeah, there's too many people that believe in this preconceived notion of what you're supposed to do and go to school and do this. So I was college bound. And then when I got there, they unbound me and said, "You're not good." Right? Well, no, they let me in. I left on my own because I couldn't sit there. The head was spinning. The clock was like tick, 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 like from the minute I got there till the minute I left. And then when I got out, all of a sudden I started doing things that just I was able to use whatever my strengths were. Right. And I think today, even we hear a lot of big companies now saying that you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to get a job because it's harder to find people.
Right.
That they want. And think about how many people you know that have graduated, unless you're a doctor, an accountant, or something with that discipline. Most people don't do anything that they've studied or even remember or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think it's important that we listen. And how many kids were there in school when I was there that shouldn't have been there or were looked upon poorly because they had some issues?
Yeah.
Right? If only they gave you out drugs then all the time, maybe I would have still been in school. But no, but it's a problem. It really is a problem today. So I think it's great, everything that you're doing, because there's a lot of people in need. What makes like the Phoenix Challenge different from, say, a traditional print education program?
I think what makes them different is the support unit that we have for our teachers. And I also think our industry giving to our schools and supporting our schools makes it different. I think one of the other things that we seem to be working on is how do we teach? How do we make things hands-on? We can address the academic child and we can address the hands-on learning child. And how do we do that in the same classroom? How do we do classroom management kind of stuff? Our teachers have a couple of resources that other teachers don't necessarily have. And that is, we have a chat for all of our teachers, and they will chat about all kinds of things. Maybe it's a supplier that went out of business, or where did you get this piece of equipment? And it can be flexography to screen printing to whatever process. So that's different. And then we have a teacher's workshop when we do the high school challenge. We run a teacher's workshop, and I bring industry folks in to teach them about things they wouldn't necessarily get in a regular academic setting per se, whether it's inks or sticky back or substrates, or maybe it's classroom control. There's all kinds of different things that we work with. We also work with how do we work with learning disabilities and in the classroom with graphic communications. And then I also work with a teacher's workshop every summer. We do a two-day event for that, and they make up the program, and then I bring in the instructors to fit the program or whatever they need. And I ask them every year, what do you want to learn about this year? What should be our focus? So we have a lot of really cool things. The teachers have worked for the past 2.5 years to come up with a new textbook. And so the textbook is in process of getting official now. And they'll have that. We're really, really, really excited about it. I mean, it's been something that they've worked on for a lot, but it addresses the kids of today, because you can't teach them the same way that we were taught. They learn in a totally different way. So you have to constantly be evolving and incorporating technology into it and making it fun,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one difference is high school, they're allowed to bring cheat sheets into their exams now, where when we went to school, they didn't have cheat sheets and you have to like write on your arm and your lower lip and your hand. So yeah, it's definitely a different way of teaching. But no, all kidding aside, though, I think it's great. It's great. I think it's great that you have the teachers so involved that, and we all know the teachers don't have enough time. They're underpaid, they're undervalued, but teachers who love are, great teachers.
Well, and it's really cool to watch our chat, because usually it's after hours. It's on the weekends, and people are exchanging information and ideas, because the one thing I've noticed about at least our teachers is that they're all very enthusiastic about their students and about their classrooms. And we're constantly trying to get the industry involved in their classrooms, because that's important. One of the biggest issues that we have is that we're fighting to keep our programs open, right? Because it's about how many butts are in a seat, and they get paid off of how many kids are in those seats. But over the last year, we closed down 2 community college programs. And their problem was, they said there was no need, there was no jobs. And I was like, what? Are you serious? They were so disconnected, because industry doesn't speak out loud enough to the administration in the academic world to say, we need these people, you know? And that's one of the biggest problems that we have in the print industry across the board, no matter what process, is we're not speaking loud enough to our academic school people.
Okay, so this is where I kind of go sideways and I have to throw out the paper that I had everything kind of lined up with. So when you talk like that, when you say across the industry, do you speak to other industry associations that I guess are also taking on the challenge of trying to get more into the education system?
Yeah. Well, and like I said, the converters, it's mostly converters. They're the ones that need to be screaming loud that we need these types of students in their facilities. And we don't necessarily have that right now. I am working right now with 3 different converters that have multiple locations across the world, actually. And so we're working on creating of kids. So which that means is, if we have a location, and I'm just going to use St. Louis as an instance, okay? I'm working on a project in St. Louis. So we have probably 6 or 7 converters in that area. They all need people. They need workforce. So I've been telling them, you need to go and talk to these schools to say, hey, we need these people. And then we develop a program. And then we go from that program and we give different pathways, whether it's high school to college, or high school to 2-year schools, or high school to 4-year schools. What are those pathways? And also introducing apprenticeship programs. Where can we do apprenticeship programs? Do we have funding? Yes, we have funding. There's money out there. You just have to tie it in together. And so I've been working on that a long time. And then we've successfully done it in the Buffalo, New York area. That has been a proven one. And that's the one we're starting to mimic. But it's taken a long time for us to get there. And now that's kind of where I'm spending most of my time right now, is creating those connections, creating the pathways, and trying to get people involved. But what I've noticed is that people will scream for workforce. They'll say they want workforce, but they don't want to do anything about it. They want someone else to do it. And that's hard.
Is there anybody you want to call out for doing that?
Oh, I don't want to point fingers. They know who they are.
Well, no, I'm not asking to point fingers. I just think sometimes people have to be called out and put on the hot seat.
Yeah.
To react.
Well, right? I would say mainly converters. They need to start screaming.
How many converters participate in your program, or assist, or donate?
We have actively right now 4 major converters.
Oh, sorry, how many?
4.
4, like 1, 2, 3, 4?
4
out of thousands and thousands and thousands?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Would you be so kind as to tell us who your 4 great supporters are?
Well, I would say, when I think about it out loud, put me on the spot here. J.R. Cole Industries is a big big supporter. Brook and Whittle are a big supporter. T does some supporting, and in the past, Bryce Industries have been a huge supporter. Those have been the ones we've worked with the most. However, There are some that are starting to engage now because they're getting desperate.
Like who? Only to give them credit for forget that they're late to the game. They're coming to the game. No, seriously, they're coming to the game and they should be given credit,
Yeah, well, we
right?
have CCL is engaging,
By the way,
which
I
is
should hope so, being the largest label company in the world.
they're engaging at different locations,
Even better. Great.
and not necessarily as a corporation. De-imaging has also been a supporter in and out. So yeah, I mean, there's some others that are thinking about it and wanting us to start engaging with them, which is good. I mean, but it just takes time, you know. I will say I give a big shout out to Hub Label. Although they don't work a whole lot with the Phoenix Challenge, they do a lot with outreach for apprenticeship programs. They do an outstanding job. So we do have some industry folks that are doing things on their own and not through the Phoenix Challenge.
Okay, well, listen, anyone you know doing anything on their own who are doing something, feel free to call them out. I'm saying feel free to call anyone out and give them a kudo, right?
Well,
And
I
sorry, if
have
we
to
do,
say
yeah, go ahead.
our suppliers are probably the biggest ones that give us a lot of
That was my
support.
next thing. Tell me about the suppliers by name.
Well, the suppliers that come to mind, first of all, would be Anderson and Vreeland. And of course, Harper Corporation of America. We couldn't do things without them. Detweiler, ALC, Mark Andy. I mean, we just have all kinds of awesome suppliers that have really helped us over the years, and we couldn't do it without them. I mean, I would say that Anderson and Vreeland, they donate printing or plate makers to all the schools.
Wow.
And that's a big, 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 big thing. All of our schools have Mark Andy presses in them.
Made in
And
America.
yeah, so that's really helped out a lot. But we have smaller companies that have helped. Eaglewood. We've had some support from companies like DuPont, but it's been, hit and miss and small. Has done a few things here and there. So it's a hit and miss thing with different suppliers. And Gray Mills. I would say Gray Mills is a big one too. I don't know if you know them or not, but they're huge.
I do not know them. But
Yeah, they
no,
do
that's
ink pumps and all kinds of stuff like that.
so if we get back to the converters for a moment, when you call a converter and you ask them for their help, and their help may be time, a person getting involved, or money, what's the response? Like, what kind of response do you get from them?
Just depends. Like, I have now started turning it over to the local schools to reach out to their network of people, and they will have people that help them. I try really hard to connect the converters in an area around a school because I feel like they are hands on. And it could be as stupid as like they just need a maintenance issue. They don't know why this bearing might be turning, or maybe there's a switch out. So they just need somebody to come over and just help them figure it out so they can order the parts and get it, fixed. And I think though, a lot of times you will hear they're afraid that it's more than that. They need to give money and it's all about money. But most of the time it's not about money. Most of the time it's about volunteering their time or
Well,
effort.
that's an excuse. Why is it an excuse? Because if you get involved with someone or an organization and you say, I'm going to give you X, you're not giving any more.
Yeah. Well, oh, and I did forget one converter that's been a big, big, big player is TapeCon. TapeCon in Buffalo. They've been huge. They've been huge in that area. There's a gentleman there by the name of Steve Davis that I would just shout to the moon and back. He has just gone beyond trying to help with workforce development. He's really good at that.
Shame on any converter who doesn't take your call and listen and at least speak to you to hear what it's about. A bigger shame if they don't do something, because the truth is our industry, print is print, and I don't care what you put under the roof, right? Flexo, large format, commercial, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. We're hurting because it is an older industry. And if we don't take advantage of situations like yours, it's just going to take longer. I mean, I've said it before. I'll just say it again because you might play this video for a podcast for others. When I had my shop, I connected with the local school, and once, twice a year, I would have the students, they would bring the graduating class into the facility, break them into 3 teams. I would take one team, 2 other people would take the others, walk them around, walk them on the plank through every department. And at the end, you have some coffee, donuts, tea, whatever, get them in the room, and you give them your corporate brochure to take home. I gave it to them to give to their parents, actually, in case any of them got print. No, but talking to them, I'm meeting them first. When they graduate, I want their CV first, right? You have a great opportunity with a lot of these people that are coming into trade schools. They're I can't think of the word right now, but they're committed, and they've given an obligation to wherever they're going to do what has to be done. So they're not leaving so fast, right? Everyone has these fears of people leaving, but you got to do it. And if you're an owner, converter, and you don't do it, then you get what you get at the end.
Well, I did a seminar for a converter down in Texas via Zoom, and they are active within their own group. They're not really a supporter of the challenge, but that doesn't matter to me. As long as they're getting out there and working with the kids, I don't care. But I taught them this really cool trick that gets kids every time. And that is, get some loops, write them into your program, and go and get your box of Frito-Lay potato chips. Turn the package over, show them the circles of dots and their solids, and then flip it over and let them look at the chip or the Dorito or whatever. And then their eyes just light up, and they get so excited when they see 4-color process for the first time, or maybe 3-color, whatever it may be. And it's amazing. And you get them every time. And then tell them, hey, you can eat these chips now. And then you really got them, right? I mean, because kids are
listen, you put them at the front end of a 14-color label press, or any 8, 10, 12-color offset press, have them walk a line along it and watch it go from blank or whatever metallic paper you have on, so more with color because there's more stations, adding more coming out the end. It's kind of like, whoa. I mean, when I first started in print, I was like blown away from whiteboard to a finished box. Right. And then you go, and then you're learning, off the machine to the rewinder, from the rewinder to, whatever finishing is required after that. Yeah. Wow. It's, if we don't get kids touching, they don't know. Right.
That's true. That's so true.
When I think back now, I'm about to age myself again, but, we would always have, you knew where we were because bicycles were outside houses. I remember being at my grandmother's house in the backyard, and with my brother, we're getting the hammers and the screws and the nails, and we're nailing wood to the trees to make a fort, or we're making a makeshift boat on a piece of 2x4. Kids don't play or touch anything anymore.
No,
right? It's just these things.
Yes.
Like even Meccano sets were the best. You at least you started to know what you like to dabble, to play, right? And different things. And it's not like that anymore.
No, it's not. It's really, and it's difficult because they don't get that. We started a program at Central Piedmont Community College too, working with now it's called Scouts. It used to be called Boy Scouts. Now it's Scouts. And
I was a Beaver.
Were you a Beaver? Okay.
Before Scouts, there was the Beavers, and then there was
I remember
Scouts.
the Beavers.
Yeah.
All right. So the Scouts now have what they call a University Merit Badge program. And flexography has been added to the merit badge for graphic communications or graphic arts.
No kidding.
So we started 4 years ago a program and offered the merit badge for students. We had about 25 students the first year. This past year, I think they offered 22 merit badges at the university, what they call the university. And we had over 250 students for that Saturday morning. And in graphic communications, we had about 40 students. That's about the max that we can handle for the morning. And we put them in different stations, and they had to make a business card, and they had to cut that. But we also did flexography, and we did screen printing, and we introduced them to print electronics, and we introduced them into color matching. And so it was really, really an awesome experience. And we are trying to get that program out across just to introduce more kids to it and do the merit badges. We do know that there are several other programs that are trying to do something like that, but they don't necessarily touch into all the different processes. So that's what we're working on right now. So it's a really cool thing.
No, very good. Two things. How do the kids react when they get a merit badge?
Oh my God, they're so excited. They're so excited. But what's really cool is when they make their own t-shirts and they're screen printing and they pull that squeegee down and they're like, like it's that aha moment. Or when they
You got to
do the
make
color
videos of that though and use that in some of the promo if they let you.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But we also do when they run the label press and they start adding the different colors, that's an aha moment too. And then the cool one I think is really neat is watching the colors. Like when they have to mix the ink and then they do the automatic drawdown and it comes out with a different color than what they thought it would be, and they're matching it and stuff. Yeah. We have a lot of really cool things that happen. And it's interesting to watch the parents. The parents are like, I never knew. I didn't, understand that. And they never go to the grocery store again the same way, right? I
Yeah,
also do the chip bag with the loops, and you can see the loops are going on, and then they go through everything and they're looking at it, to see what it
nobody
looks like.
knows.
Yeah, they don't know. Say, hey, I forgot to mention Phil Kelly at Salem One too. Salem One is a big supporter of the Phoenix Challenge. They do a lot with one of their local schools that we just put a press in was Forsyth Technical College in Winston-Salem, which is really cool. Really, really
Yeah,
cool.
love Phil. First of all, he loves our industry like nobody else.
Yeah.
He is so passionate about his company, even though I think it's been bought and sold a few times and he's got some equity guys in there. Most
Yeah.
people hate it. He's still going strong and they're just growing and busting and what a solid guy. If we can clone him and put him in more companies, industry would be a better place.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
So I want to go back to the kids.
Yes.
Just their reactions, their excitement, their parents. Are their parents proud of them when this happens?
Yeah, especially when you see it with the Boy Scouts, the parents are just like amazed at what's there. I think doing the merit badge in the different facilities where they have the printing presses, I think it changes people's lives. I really, really do because they look at things differently because people don't realize about packaging. And it's something that we can't live without, right? Everywhere we're around. And so people don't think about our industry as being vital and a necessity. That's the thing that really bothers me the most is that I heard a story that back in the 80s, there was this guy in the Cincinnati area who said that print was dead. And it was about the time that we started. Yes. And it was about the time we started with the Apples, right? The Apple computers and stuff. And so they were like, print's dead. It's not dead. It's growing like leaps and bounds. But that's what started the downfall of the educational system in that area.
It was Apple and Microsoft talking about the future and
Yeah.
how, paperless and we're printing more paper on our home printers than ever before.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
thought computers were going to end the world and they didn't end the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know it. It's, by the way, print and dead should never, ever be in the
In the
same
same
sentence because
sentence.
you cannot say it positively. It's a double negative. So I just need everyone listening. Don't ever use the word dead and print together. Ever. Right?
No, no. And it just breaks my heart. I mean, some things shifted in publications, right? And unfortunately, we're watching the newspaper industry pass away slowly and tortuously, which is really sad to me, but it has just gone gangbusters with everything. I mean, you think about COVID, when
Yeah.
COVID hit, who helped get us through it? It was the print industry.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to touch on the newspapers. It's probably the first time I ever said it because I just thought about it, but I don't really care. Anything to do with the news, they could all disappear and go away. They don't do anything positive for us. It's all negative. I don't even know why the news channels, and if somebody can answer me, I would love it. Why don't they start off with something great that happened in the day,
Yes.
and not always a murder, a rape, or something evil that makes your body just like do this? Why can't they be putting positive energy out? So, you know what? Fuck the news, fuck the newspapers. Something else will take their place. They could all go away. That was my public announcement for the day. Question: do you track the students that have been in the program?
We track the college students. We can't track the high school
Well, because
students
they're minors, you'd get in trouble.
because they're minors. However, I will say that a lot of the high school students will come back and will engage with us at some point or another. I had a teacher who actually no longer has a program because she was one of those programs that they closed. The CTE director closed it down because there wasn't enough interest, which wasn't the truth. She called me. She lost her program like 6 years ago, and she still keeps connected with me. And she called me probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and she said that she had run into one of her students who had competed in the challenge, who took heart of what I said about dreaming the job and doing whatever you want to. She's now a chemist for Sun Chemical,
No
and she
kidding.
makes Flexo inks. And she said when
Wow.
she ran into her at the grocery store, she said, "Will you let Mrs. Kraft know that I am in the Flexo industry and that I'm making Flexo inks?" So I thought that was
Wow.
pretty cool.
That is. So I would reach out to some of these students or all of them and see who's interested and have them do little testimonial clips or say something to be showing to future students or to be showing to
Well,
parents.
that's a great lead into something that we're doing right now. I'm
Oh my
so
God. So
excited.
tell us.
Yes. So there is a young man. His name is Josh Sigmund, and he has just been appointed to the Phoenix Challenge Board. Josh, I've known Josh since he was 14, 15 years old. Competed in the Phoenix Challenge at a 2-year school, got him to a 4-year school. He competed there. In his competition group, he met his wife. They dated for a little while and then they got married. Now they have a baby. And now he is a VP of Wink, or I don't think he's a VP. He's a director of development. I
Well,
think
I'll have
at
to make
Wink.
him a VP now that you said
Yeah,
that.
we'll make him a VP at one point. But he has now joined the board. He judges at the College Phoenix Challenge. He is getting ready to start an alumni group. And we were waiting for, the process to go through where these young people, I want to call them kids, they're not kids, they're adults now. They have their own families, but where they were getting into that part where they could start giving back. And there's one company called Phototype, or now I think it's called Oberlin Brand. They're a pre-press house, and there's a young lady there. Her name is Nina Clark, and she's an amazing young lady. And she is now judging for the College Phoenix Challenge. And she herself went through the challenge, and now she's hired, I think, 3 or 4 other individuals that have gone through the challenge. And so she's building her team. So she's another mover shaker. And we're hoping, as you know, we have to come up with a succession plan. But what I've learned is this kind of work comes from the heart. And so we have to identify those that want to give back, have the passion, and have the heart to continue this process. And so as the rest of us start getting into our upper years, then we're trying to find our passionate people to take our places eventually. And that's kind of what we're doing now. So it's really cool. But the alumni group is so active. And we have 2 young ladies this year that have reached out to me. Nina is one of them, and they are going to be working with a brand new community college program that is going to compete this year for the first time at the College Phoenix Challenge. And so they're going to mentor them and kind of give them guidance on how to do the competition. So I'm excited about that too. It's really cool.
So I just had an idea.
Yeah.
You should get some of these people, some of these testimonials.
Okay.
Put it together in a video or in a little some type of email that could be done, and then go to FTA, the Flexo Association, and ask them to mail it to their base. They're not going to give you their list, but they shouldn't charge you either to mail it out to their entire base, even a couple times. You need to, everyone, like the magazines should be helping, the trade magazines should be helping because printers are dropping every day and then they're losing their subscription base. So they should be helping for no other reason, selfishly, to get more people into the industry so that there's more jobs in a better industry so they can get more people to advertise in their magazine. I'm just trying to think of ways to talk people into getting to do, because it costs them nothing to do that email. It's a
Yes.
push a button, right?
So the FTA, the Phoenix Challenge, actually, the other part of the Phoenix Challenge actually came from the FTA.
Cool. So then they should have no problem doing the email for you.
And they do help us and do publications. I will say that our magazines, like, Label and Narrow Web and Package, I'm not real good with the names of magazines, but Package Printing, I believe, is the other one. They do run the articles that we give them on news releases and stuff like that. But the Flexo and Education program that was given to the FTA back in the, I want to say 98, 99 arena, is actually what the Phoenix Challenge took over as far as the communications for the colleges and the high schools for them. And then it has evolved. We took the competition part and we took what was needed to develop the programs. Then we took the liability for all the machines. So that's where it really grew from. Yeah, we work a lot with them, and hopefully we'll continue down that path. We'll see. We also work a lot with TLMI, and
Yeah, they're a good organization.
Yeah, they're a great organization. And
Well,
then
when you have something to put out there, like, do you send it to United Alliance? Do you send it to What They Think? Do you send it to all the people so that they should post it in their daily posts?
I haven't done Print United, and I need to.
All of them. You go to all of them because they all write anything, and this is really an important initiative.
Yeah. And then the other one that we work a lot with now is the Corrugated Foundation, Packaging Foundation, and they are amazing. Caitlin Severo there she's a rock star. She's just a rock star, and has really helped me a lot with all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And I'm trying to branch out. I myself have learned that I need to branch out and learn about the other parts of our industry that I am not as familiar with, and try, because I feel like there's so many initiatives out there that we need to tie them together. Like, everybody's trying to do the same thing. And I feel like if we could just tie our resources together, we would make a greater impact. One of the things that I struggle with, and I'm not sure how to go about it, but we tend to talk to our own people. And we really need to get out of that box and talk to everybody, letting them know about print.
Well, this is the crazy thing. This is the crazy thing. And I hear you, because it's a lot of people have that. But with everything that our industry does, we're in contact with everybody on the outside of our industry. So if it's not you, you probably know 10, 15, or 1,000 people who know other people, and you might just have to reach out to some other people. And if anyone's listening and you think that you have a good idea or someone to contact, then, reach out to Bettylyn.
Yes,
you
please.
don't have to be afraid. She doesn't bite. Promise me. Right? No, but it's not. A lot of people have ideas. A lot of people want to do things. Then the phone rings, or they have to do something else, and they forget to come back to it. So some people just need a little bit of a push and a reminder. I'm thinking Graphic Arts Foundation, if you reached out to them, they could probably help you gather a whole lot of this information that you want, right? Because they would probably know of a bunch of initiatives. Printing United, What They Think, because they write them up, would know. And everyone should have a vested interest in talking, because we shouldn't duplicate anything. We should only complement each other, right?
Yeah. And there's a foundation called PGSF, and they're the Print Scholarship Graphic
That's what I'm
Arts
talking
Foundation.
about.
Yeah.
I'm just
They're
not good with
amazing.
acronyms, too many of them.
Yes. And so they're amazing. They are helping the Phoenix Challenge students get to the Phoenix Challenge, and they've been helping me, and oh my gosh, they've been amazing this past year. Yeah. I mean, talk about some gem of people to work with. Yeah. They've been great.
Yeah, and then there's even calling. I mean, I'm sure there's some local chapters or associations of different print organizations in different states or cities that you could also reach out to.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
What I would like to do is I'd like to invite you and 2 or 3 other students, present
Okay.
and past, to
Okay.
come on to one podcast so
Okay.
that we could talk about those that are going through it, those that have been through it, because there's really nothing better than for people to hear people's live experiences, right?
That's true.
Even though we're in the world of print and we read, when you read, sometimes if you're like me, you don't always take it in, but if you're visualizing something, it's a lot better. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And if there's some emotion involved, it sticks around a little longer in your head. No, really, I'm always amazed that there aren't more printers, big or small, offering up something. Stage
Mm-hmm.
for a day. If you're a small printer, $500 as a contribution to an associate. Everyone I don't, yes, I'm not counting anyone's money, right? But everybody in business could find $500 or $1,000. If you're a $20 million business, you could find $2,000 to $5,000. If you're whatever, I won't go up and down, but there's just, or some time, or companies could ask their people to participate. I'm sure in every company, there's people that love kids, love what they do, and would love to help. Maybe people
Yeah.
in some of the bigger companies, maybe there's some programs you can come up with for some of the companies that have 500, 600 people plus for the employees' children.
That's a good idea.
I was talking to a friend whose son is following in his footsteps and went in working as a pressman, and both of them are super excited. And the dad is a super awesome guy. So, our kids, we don't think they always listen to us, but in a lot of cases, they don't
They do.
pretend to be listening, but they are listening, right? So there's so many ways for engagement. And then maybe it gives the parents an opportunity to engage with their kids, trying to figure out a way to.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
What do I know? Just if you put enough stuff out there, something sticks, something appeals to everyone at some point.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good idea. We'll work on that. I'm really excited this year is we've had some changes. Jay Cable, who used to work for the FTA, who was their business development person for years, I'm probably, I don't know, 20 plus years. He is now retired from there, and he came to me right away and he's like, I want to help the Phoenix Challenge. So he is taking that initiative and trying to develop those relationships for the Phoenix Challenge that I'm only one person, so I can only do so much. So now we're starting to really engage with other people. And one of the things I want to let everybody know is every dime that's donated that goes to the kids. Everything that we do goes to the kids. We have no staff. Everybody is all volunteer basis, which is really, really, really cool. But I try to make a difference. And one of the things that we do that used to be paid for by the industry through the FTA is no longer paid through that way, is we have to move presses from one place to another. This past week, we moved a press from a college that had closed down into a high school, and that bill was a little pricey.
Idea.
Yeah.
All the printers in that area know all the riggers because they use them. All the press manufacturers know them. Let them call up to get you a bit of a deal because it's for the kids.
Yes. So we are fortunate and blessed. We work with a rigger that does that, and he goes the extra mile to cut those costs down. Well, he has an acronym, but the person's name is Richard Jackson, and Richard is a rock star.
Thank you, Richard.
And he goes the extra mile to handle it. But anybody needs. I was trying to think of his company name, and I can't think of it because I just call him Richard. But
I'll tell you what. When you find it, if you tell it to me, I'll put it in the description when we post the podcast.
All right, that sounds good. I will do that. But they're a rock star, and we have at this moment in time, 3 presses that we're getting ready to move. But regardless of how good of a deal we get, it's freight cost that get you, right? And that's the big thing. And it costs money. It just, and we have to raise that money to do that. And
everything costs money, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, in our competition to the high school students, we don't charge the high school students. We put them up at a Drury Inn. We fly them in. it's 2 teams of 2 and their teacher.
So
So we
what,
raised,
sorry, what's the budget for this competition?
well, last year it was about 23,000 to do the high school challenge,
That's nothing.
which, well, you might
No,
not
no,
think it's,
no. In business for doing something,
yeah,
right? I don't think that's a lot. I don't see why you probably couldn't find 1 or 2 or 3 title sponsors to cover it. These the Xeroxes of the world, the Mark Andys, which they're kind to already. You can call Heidelberg Gallus if they're listening to give something so that you could talk about them. Niels Peter, right? Rotometrics. The end is it's endless. All you
yeah,
manufacturers in Flexo, step up to the plate and help out.
yeah, it's hard. They know they,
It's not. No, they go and I'm this is what makes me crazy. But these companies, if they say no to you, they'll go spend 10 grand on meals at a show for no reason with tire kickers who will never buy a machine from them,
yeah, I
right?
know.
So, anyways, I don't want to get too excited. I still have a whole day ahead of me. No, but we could talk offline. But everybody should be helping you out in a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Last year, our hotel bill was a little over $12,000, and I thought I was going to croak. I mean, it was hard, and we don't make money. We don't. We didn't even come on. We were in a negative last year on that particular project, which was fine. We made it up. We have a golf outing that we do in September, and we had enough sponsorships that we were able to cover the deficit of what we had. And, it is what it is. The one thing you'll find about me with the teachers and the industry is if they ask me for something, I never say no. I always say, we'll figure it out. And I always figure it out some way, somehow. And we have an amazing group of volunteers from all across our industry that really help me make things happen. Financial part, it's a little tougher. But I'm hoping Jay's going to be able to mend that because so often I would go down the aisle and ask people for money or ask for sponsorships of some sort, and it could be as little as $250, and people would turn and go the other way, and they just don't want to do that. It's hard
And
to get them
and
to
and
put
it's a
those.
shame because the mistakes in people's places, the things in life, it really is not a big thing. Anyways, if there's anyone you would like me to call to ask for money, I'd be happy to call on behalf of the kids
Thank you.
and
Thank
the
you.
industry. And if there's anyone listening and you want to do that, then reach out to Bettylyn and tell her that you're happy to call. I mean,
Yeah.
if we don't get a movement of everybody working together, we're not going anywhere. I've only heard for the longest time about, my estimator's getting old, my pressman's getting old, this person's getting old, the owner's getting old. But if you want to sell your business or you want to pass it on to another generation, you got to have people.
Yeah. And the
And if
only
you
way we're going to get it.
and if you have young people in your company, ask them to help you entertain and bring in more young people. Really, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
going to say
good.
this, and you're probably not going to be happy that I'm saying it, but I think
Oh,
everyone
no.
should know. No, but everyone should know that you work for free,
Yeah, I
right?
do.
I mean, we were
Yeah.
chatting. You even told me your husband gave you shit for not earning any money. I mean, we're talking to a person here, and we're going to end the show on this note. I'm talking to a person I feel could not be more dedicated to never mind our industry, but to watching the kids make something of themselves, to be something, to do something. The way you talk. I mean, I have my own 2 kids and I was happy to drop them off at school for the day. And I mean, I guess I was very happy and proud of the teacher who would sit with 30 kids that weren't hers. Got to get your head checked if you're asking me. But to the people, no, but to the people that do that, like my
Yeah.
heart goes out because that is the future of this planet,
Yes.
right? And if everybody, and I'm not saying everyone's perfect, not even me, but everybody has to find it in themselves to do a little bit, to move that little needle out of their comfort zone and help out.
Yeah.
And if it's not money, give some time, donate a product, a service, something. There are so many places all around, and Bettylyn could help you. So
Thank you.
I'm going to end it on that one because I'm really I'm juiced, and anything else I don't want to get mean or get nasty on those that don't. But any final words that you'd like to put in?
No, I think that our industry needs people, and I think that we need to work with the young people as much as we can. We have an amazing group of sponsors, and I appreciate every one of them. I might not have mentioned everybody's name, but they know who they are, and I love them all. I wish we could get more people to engage. I'm hoping that this will help people engage. And if you need help, if you have a converter that needs a workforce pipeline, call me. That's what I'm here for. I love working with young people and students and working with CTE directors, and that's what I do. You're right. I don't get paid. I get $1,000 a month, which pays for multiple things like internet,
You're like a
telephone.
teacher. You're using your own money to raise our kids.
That's what I do. But you know what? I can tell you that we've put in several hundred people into our industry. They have successful careers, and they're passionate and they love what they do. And I think that the more seeds we plant and the more that we nourish those plants and seeds, then we'll get there. But we have to do it together, and we just need more people. Yeah, that's it.
One other thought, you got to call
Yeah.
out some of the equity funds that buy some of the companies in our industry.
Yeah.
I mean, at the company level, sometimes they're not allowed to give money because the equity groups are
Yeah.
watching their spend. But call the equity groups and see if they would fund our industry, since they're in it and they're trying to make money off of us. Just an
Okay.
idea.
That's a good idea. All right. I'll try it.
Brain's always going. Anyways, we're going to end it
Thank you.
on that. I'm just going to thank you again just for being you, for everything that you do. Our kids are priceless. And although we don't think about it all the time, anyone who's willing to help them, everyone who's willing to help them, just wow. Like, you've been put on this planet for a reason, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. To the rest of you, get off your ass and do something. Give her a call and help her. Okay, or help somebody in the industry. I'm getting tired of hearing all the people how bad our industry is, but no one's picking up a finger to do anything. So make it happen. Other than that, I'm so happy that you listened to the podcast. I hope you walk away with some information that you didn't know before, and keep listening. And let me know if there's anything else you guys would like to hear about. Lynn, thank you again. To everyone else, later.
Thank you.